Good afternoon and welcome to our third edition of Inside ProCents. Our purpose, as always, is to showcase our members, to shed a little light on the value that ProCents is providing to our industry players, and most of all, to let you hear that value directly from our members' lips. My name is Devin Anderson, and I'm the president here at ProCents, and I am joined by the rest of our leadership team, Mr. J.R. Edens, a ProCents partner, and our very own Mr. Matt Russell. Matt, would you like to say a few words before we begin?
I'm just excited to have Rodney on. He's been a very instrumental to the growth and success of ProCents in the past, and I can't wait to do more business with him and see what the environment can do for him as well.
Right on. Thank you, Matt. Today we are featuring one of our ProCents buyers within the environment, Mr. Rodney Nespeca. I did pronounce that correctly?
Nespeca.
Nespeca, got it. I should have asked before I got on here. Anyway, Arcadia Lighting. Rodney has been with ProCents since the very beginning, well before our official launch in October of 2021. Good morning, Rodney, and welcome to Inside ProCents.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Right on. All right, as always, let's begin by shining the light on you and your organization with a little self-promotion. Tell us a bit about your organization. And then as a second part of the question, enlighten our audience as to what specific pain point drove you to become a ProCents member.
Yeah, sure. So our organization, Arcadia Lighting, was founded 2016, 2017. We're based out of Houston, Texas. And we've got a very specific mission. We manufacture and sell wholesale commercial and industrial LED lighting fixtures. And we got into the space because we believed that there was an opportunity to add value to customers in the industry that maybe some of the other folks were not doing or could be done better. And so we started our business focusing on efficiency, on customer service, and on product quality. And over time, we've developed a product line, mainly outdoor fixtures and also commercial and industrial indoor, such as high bays and sort of a lot of linear options and canopies that we've sort of found homes with a lot of distributors and ESCOs across the country. So, our main focus is we get in at the project level. We understand projects really well. We understand our sales partners, our rep agencies, our customers, and we work to deliver the solutions that they need for any project that they have, but also do so through a very efficient communication and support system.
Right on. And then the second part of that question?
What was the second part, Devin?
Sure. Is essentially what drove you to become a part of ProCents? What pain point or what reason?
Like everything, it starts with relationships. And I've, had the pleasure of meeting Matt, years ago at various conferences, and, was very impressed by Matt's vision and by Matt's network of, both buyers and sellers in the space, and just generally his knowledge of the industry. And so, we kind of gravitated towards each other, shared a collective vision. And as Matt started to develop ProCents years ago, it made sense for us to get involved and support it. And I've just watched it grow over time and had the pleasure of working now with you, Devin, and some of the other buyers within the environment. And it's a great fit for us because, we have a shared mission of connecting buyers and sellers, focus on support, and I think that, that type of workspace and work environment is good for us because it allows us to really promote some of the core things that we've been working on as a company over time. And so just as a very natural fit.
Right on. Yeah. And I think it's worth noting here, your organization had the greatest value of POs in our first quarter of actual operation, which says a lot about the initial network. And it wasn't just people that were here prior to our launch, it's some of the newer ones as well. So yeah, that's a very positive thing. And in addition, I need to apologize. In my initial introduction, I introduced you as a buyer. You are not a buyer, you are a seller in our organization.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I want to make sure that that's corrected. So perfect. JR, I think, has a question for you as well.
Sure.
Hey, Rodney, since our launch, what has ProCents accomplished that's most impacted you and your company?
I've been inspired by how hard, y'all work, and, the communication, the outreach, always, trying to identify needs of buyers and sellers and spreading that throughout the environment. It's, I'm really starting to see a meaningful, long lasting platform develop that I think, really adds value in a space where there's a lot of confusion and a lot of fragmentation. And I think that as ProCents, grows that environment, both on the buyer and seller side, with the leadership team here, I could really start to see how this turns into a tremendous platform to add value to both buyers and sellers. And I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Spectacular. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Matt?
Welcome.
Well, as I alluded to earlier, you and I, we've been doing business together for a while, and we found synergies as we started this process. With the success that you've had, what are some of the current points for buyers that you might see within the marketplace that we could bring on as a leadership team to be more of an impact for the sellers like yourself?
Are you saying what types of buyers, or what? I guess I don't understand that question totally.
Well, what type of buyers? Because obviously you have the ESCO model. You work with distributors and reps, but are there market segments that you see great potential in that we should look at? With other buyers, whether it be contractors or something that brings you more in line with the projects.
I think one area to possibly explore could be new construction. And I think that there's a lot of buyers out there that are starting to shift their business model, a little bit towards new construction, still retaining that retrofit kind of core. But we've had some success over the last year or two with a handful of accounts that are active in that space, where it allows us, the benefit there is it allows us to get in on a project early and add, whether that's through layouts or photometrics, or just really getting in there with, kind of either a builder or a developer or a distributor that services those folks. And I'm starting to see more and more, kind of the independent distributors and ESCOs that are starting to trend that way. I think we could help those types of buyers by giving them a toolkit and giving them the support system to penetrate that market and to get in with specifiers and kind of work on new builds. On the retrofit side, I think it's really just expanding. It's expanding that ESCO model, which I think is a great model, and a disruptive model, that some of the sort of national distributors are now kind of going up against. And it's the same story, right? So I think it's the buyers that get close to the projects the earliest, we will really be able to support and give them strength, and not just on design or on solutioning, but also on pricing. And so I think as the competitive nature of this industry gets tighter, it's going to reward both manufacturers, sellers, and buyers that understand that balance between price point, quality, and support. And so that's what we focus on every single day. So identifying the buyers that are actively trying to get into that type of project flow, or that currently are, I think will have a greater impact on both ProCents and the buyers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Those are great insights. Very good insights. In fact, I mean, we've talked at length about different the two sides of the industry, which are essentially your retrofit side and your new construction side. And they are different. They're different animals altogether. To try to hit them both in one fell swoop would be probably kill us because there's just much, there's a lot that goes into the new construction side. But our eyes on that ball. And I think as we start to build this and we start to see the different paths, one of the things I want to do, and I know Matt's talked about this in the past as well, is going at the new construction side of this in a different way. I call it the old and crusty. I mean, it's that typical vertical, top-down approach that happens, and it's still living large in the distribution channel. So there's another way that maybe can be done there, but who knows? I mean, it may not be today, it may be tomorrow, maybe next year. Just
as generally speaking, material costs are increasing. I mean, there's pressure on builders, there's pressure on a lot of the larger general contractors, sort of developer folks out there. And maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, the lighting component being a small percentage of the total project wasn't really worth sharpening your pencil on as a builder, as a distributor that services them. But we're seeing it. We're seeing it now, and I assume it's because prices are going up across the board, and now everything starts to become more competitive. So it could be an opportunity for lighting to be a little more disruptive in that process, where we could add some value.
Absolutely. And the value from my perspective, I mean, I'm definitely one that believes in the direct model, or at least trying to avoid a lot of
Yeah.
those middle costs. But there's a huge value for distributors in certain aspects of every of the industry. So
Yeah.
so I'm not short shooting their bed at all. This is more
That's
about
right.
finding the right way for everybody to win.
Yeah.
And that, sometimes takes looking at things from a different angle. So I
Yeah.
love it. It's a good conversation.
Cool.
Matt, you got another question?
Yeah. So obviously, with the success that you've seen within the environment since 2019, and being active as you are, as an entrepreneur that you are, what goals have you set forth for ProCents in 2022, and what might you think we can do as a leadership team to help you achieve those goals?
Yeah, thanks. That's a good question. I mean, to us, it's kind of two things. One, it's we like to work with customers where we develop relationships with them. And I think that promotes project success, particularly in our space where things happen and you have to be coordinated and have to know who you're working with. And so I think that the more, I don't know if it's I don't want to use the word events or, but if there's, as ProCents' environment builds, I've always found that good networking opportunities, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person, really promote good work relationships. And I'm a big believer in that. So I think as the environment grows, it'd be nice, maybe it's once a year to try to find, a venue or a platform to get folks together where we could exchange ideas, get to know each other personally, understand what we're all kind of collectively working with. So I think that's one thing that could possibly help, just developing relationships. But from our standpoint, we really look at it as a pipeline business, so it's just pretty cut and dry for us is, the more projects that we could help support and put into a buyer's pipeline, properly, then the better outcome for our buyers would be, and so I think it's just a volume game, and the right buyers with the right spirit, with the right mission that that will get to projects that have relationships with end users, that know how to interact with manufacturers. I think that's just pretty much the kind of name of the game. So those would be the kind of two things that I would suggest: just more buyers and some sort of venue or platform to meet and to build better relationships with.
Well, absolutely. Because, for me, with our relationship, I certainly want to see your business grow, because as your business grow, it only
Yeah.
helps the
Of course.
ProCents environment grow.
Of course.
And and as you talked about the coming together, that was one of the things that even the members that we still have, that they truly enjoyed back in, I think it was 2019 when we started this, or 2018, when we all came to Houston and, broke bread and, kind of had
Exactly.
a meeting of the minds, because you had buyers, and you also had the sellers in both rooms, and no one was looking to scalp or take something from someone.
Yeah.
It's all about enriching each other's business and figuring out
Yeah.
how you can leverage that. And I think that's what this is going to be all about. That's bringing us the success that we truly know it's there.
Yeah, I mean, events like that last years, they last careers. If you do it properly and put it on right, and the right people are there and it's the right platform, I mean, that's where those develop great working relationships. And so yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And the key word I think in there is relationship, right? I mean, this whole industry, when you take all of the innovation, all of the technology, all of the change, all of the acquisition, all the things that are turning and burning our environment every day,
Yeah.
it still comes down to the relationship, and it's based on that. And it's not just, I know you, I have your contact. It's literally being able to be in a three-dimensional world and have a conversation and see you and be in those moments. That's when I think the relationships get tighter. I mean, I love doing these virtual things, but there is a dimension that's missing from these. And that's that piece where I can actually feel the conversation with you. I can tell when something's clicked. I can feel whether or not it's resonating, whether or not I need to do something to go back. A lot of those things that you just are not done on virtual, but that's the world we live in today.
Yeah.
So I think that your commentary about getting connected in person and finding a way to get together more often, I think is really solid. So
Yeah, yeah.
all right, well, right on. Those are all great insights as usual, and we're proud to have you as a ProCents member.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you for your time here today and for all that you're going to be providing in the future. Hopefully that top PO receiver status continues to grow. We're going to definitely do everything we can to keep that happening for you. Matt, would you like to say a few words before we close out?
Well, for those that are watching this and listening to it, as the days and weeks and years go by, I want everyone to understand that Rodney and our relationship started when we were both manufacturers. We had an idea and we kind of spawned it together, but at no time did we try to steal each other's business. We were always looking to be an asset for each other. I did lamps, he did fixtures. So in an environment like ProCents, you are able to find and partnerships that will allow you to provide the overall solution that you have been lacking. So if you come into the environment, always look inwards, and take Rodney and I as an example, and many others that have been a part of this for a period of time, that success can be found with those that are doing the same business you are, because there's so many verticals that we have to jump over. And with the group think, as we learned yesterday, it's all about sharing knowledge and sharing resources to bring forth a better environment for everyone involved. So Rodney, I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate you being a part of this. And for those that are coming into the environment in the future, this is a place that you can thrive. So we look
Cheers
forward
to
to
that.
having you.
Well said.
And that's very well said. In fact, it's a great lead in. It's worth noting ProCents is already providing a huge, wide variety of products and services, different categories for our buyers. Rodney and Arcadia Lighting represent one of the categories, LED manufacturers. And the commentary that this leads into is the fact that our manufacturers are already partnering with one another. So it's not just a buyer-seller mentality within our environment. Our sellers are filling gaps for other sellers when they don't have something in stock, when they don't have something specific for an application. I mean, it's so much better to go into a project with a full package rather than leaving a gap for somebody else to fill and then take over what you've already specified. So the partnership mentality that's happening already within our industry really makes our sellers also buyers on a horizontal level across the seller category. So very interesting. And then when you add to that the fact that we also have suppliers of controls, wireless and wired, we've got IoT commissioning and an IoT solutions category filled, which provides access to a lot of the solutions that we can't get in a direct capacity, but they're the big names in the industry. Auditing services, solar solutions, UV and air purification products, EV charging has been added, multifamily solutions. We've got GFCI and USB receptacles, surveillance products. And then on the service side, we have recycling, we have end user financing, and then we have Section 179D and accelerated tax depreciation strategies. And then to put a nice little cherry on it, we at ProCents, and I do this for all of my buyers out there who are looking and sellers who are looking for solutions, and I handle the specification and application assistance side and help people find the right partners for those different applications and needs. So the one thing that we look forward to doing is listening to our members, and that's why we have this Inside ProCents going on, and then continuing to improve on what we do and how we do it. This environment is meant to benefit the buyers and the sellers in our industry who are looking for better connections, stickier relationships, and a better way to connect with innovation. That's what ProCents really is all about. So this concludes today's Inside ProCents blog session. Again, today's focus was on Rodney Nespeca and Arcadia Lighting. Thank you again, Rodney, for your time and insights. You want to add anything before I finish it off?
No, I mean, you really summarized it well. Just grateful to be a part of the organization. Fully, totally committed. Our company is totally committed to ProCents to grow and promote, the entire environment. And we're always available both for buyers and sellers. Feel free to reach out to us with any ideas, suggestions, critiques, we're open to all of that, and we want to just make sure that we do our part to help promote this great organization. And we believe in the leadership team, and we believe in the vision. So we're here for the long run. And thank you guys for having me.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Very
You're
much.
welcome. Have a nice day.
Right on. And now, as we always do, we close with a bit of our ProCents culture to do it right. To all of our current and future members, remember, success always begins with consistency. Do what you say you're going to do. Always remember to support the environment by always turning inward for your organizational needs. Be active, be responsive, and get yourself and your organization fully connected. ProCents opens the doors, and our participants always choose their own path, but they do it together. If you would like to know more about ProCents, let's talk today. Thank you all once again. We appreciate your time.